goosebumps every time, yeah, 713. To the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low-key. I'm sipping low-key and onions, flying rider. I get those goosebumps every time.
Newcastle United.
I get those goosebumps every time. I need the high, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Up the Mags. Yes, sir.
Welcome to Lord of Mag NUFC. Let's pause that music for now. Get in. Up to third in the table. Yes, little old Newcastle United. Boys, how are we?
Buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing. I was just saying to you boys pre-show, I think that's up there as one of my favourite games of the season. It just had everything. And there's a lot of discussion points for us to go into, which I know we will. But yeah, fantastic result. Really puts a marker down. All we've heard in the last few days is it's going to be a tough game against Palace. You know, Palace are in really good form, and you know Newcastle can't just turn up. But the way we've emphatically just cast them aside, we've just put them to one side, and it was just brilliant to see. And I also said, boys, to me mate, in my group chat earlier on this evening, I was like, it goes without question now. It goes without saying. We definitely have the best midfield in the Premier League. It's absolutely sublime. To a man, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And to sit there and witness it, watch it, soak it all up, it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But no, I'm on cloud nine, mate. I'm really good. Capped off a really nice day today. But how are you, Pete? How are you doing, mate?
Living life right now. What a weekend. What a midweek. For me, that was a statement win tonight from Newcastle United. That was a statement of intent. That was, as you said, a marker in terms of this team, this manager, assistant manager, staff, players have said, we want Champions League this season. That was that performance tonight. And for all the things that Chris said, and I talked about it on socials, been talked about since the Man United game. Palace, good side. Only lost one since, October away from home. Had come in with a good run of form, albeit lost to Man City. Didn't matter tonight because that team there, Newcastle United, absolutely dismantled Crystal Palace. Dismantled them tonight. It was absolutely stunning performance of the highest order. I don't think you're going to get many performances like that in the Premier League, let alone just from Newcastle United. In the Premier League, you're not going to get a performance like that. And Chris, you said we've got the best midfield in the Premier League or the best midfield around. Well, I'll go on better. I'll say we've got one of the best teams in English football. One of the best teams around at this moment in time, because that was absolutely a team performance to a man. It was absolutely sensational. I cannot give these players any more credit. They're just so good, and that was so good tonight. But Daz, how are you feeling? What are your emotions on the back of that fantastic win, mate? A statement win.
There's going to be a lot of superlatives tonight. There's going to be a lot of singing tonight. I know it's late. Apologies if I wake anyone else up in my house. But That was absolutely amazing. It's amazing what you can do. You put your heads together and you can achieve absolutely anything. As we found out during the week as well, at the weekend, you can achieve anything.
Yes.
I always have to get that one in there.
What a week, boys,
there
what
it
a
is.
week.
There's that bad boy.
What a week.
There it is. We've missed him. Where do we start? Well, first of all, there's 200 people watching us live at 10:10 on a school night. If school is open for anyone else, yeah, and smash that like button. You know what to do, because we are going to get through everything here now. And Arsenal, we are coming for you. I'm not sure if I'm going to be happy with fifth spot now. I would have snatched your hands off of fifth spot, but let's go for Arsenal. Let's topple Arsenal now at this stage. They're focused on other things, so let them bang away with that. Let's get into the team. This was the team news. Unchanged. If away days was on, I'm sure it would have been the same team that the guys would have put together if we had ran away days. So, yep, that was it. No surprises there. I know Adam Morton wasn't playing for Palace. I don't have that picture, but let's get into it a bit. Gordon on the bench, Willock back in the squad. J7, if he gets through this game, which he did, without getting a yellow, he's room towards that 15. So yes, J7 is safely through. Then hopefully, so there's only 6 games left, so he can't get 7 more yellow cards. So
by the way, I loved how when he got subbed, he was absolutely raging. And like he just wanted to play, didn't he? But it was like, mate, just get off the pitch. Just get off the pitch. Just get off the pitch. He was fuming, but it's great that he wants to be there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But Bruno was exactly the same. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Bruno was like, he threw something to the ground. It wasn't the armband because he'd already given it on, but he threw something to the ground. How good is that, lads?
Yeah.
You've got players that are pissed off that they're being subbed because they're desperate to be on the pitch to continue the good work. It is so good. Sorry, Dad. Go on.
That's that going, boys, because we've got a lot to get through. Right, where do we start? Yeah, nearly straight away, pretty much with the kickoff, and we're nearly in the first couple of seconds because Murphy with a ball across, and Isak just slightly maybe over Isak, could have got to it, but J7 then was a bit away from it as well. So we nearly could have scored in the first couple of seconds. Pretty much like we did score, but it was ruled off in the Man United game that we're at. 6 minutes. Murphy ball to Isak. Isak with a shot. Great save by Henderson. Then the ball goes down the other end. Char intercepts to cut one out for Palace. Murphy then another delicious ball in for Isak. Headed over by Isak, and Newcastle are saying this, that Newcastle need to be more ruthless here and finish off their chances. That was 3 good chances they had in a row in the first 10 minutes, but we did not have to wait too much longer because that first goal came via Murphy. Here we go. While waiting on another beautiful cross, and he pumps it into the roof of the net at the near post. Wow, what a goal from Jacob Murphy. Take a bow, son. Boys, what about that goal from Murphy? And you know what? I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. Jacob Murphy. Boys, what about that goal?
Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Sorry. Hopefully I'll be the last one tonight. Can't guarantee it though. There was no doubt. There was no doubt. A bit unlike the Sandro goal recently, there was no doubt that Jacob Murphy meant that. Do I think he's absolutely nuts for taking the shot on? Yes. Because from that angle, you just think that he can't score from there, surely.
Watch the mic, Chris.
Oh, sorry, mate. He hits the ball so sweetly. Hits the ball so sweetly. It's an absolutely fantastic finish. It kind of defies the laws of physics, because when he hit it, my instant reaction when he hit it was, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And then when it just screams into the net, it's such a fantastic finish. And Jacob Murphy at the moment, boys. I tell you what, we're hearing a lot, aren't we, that Thomas Tuchel's coming to Newcastle and watching certain players, whether it be Tino Livramento, whether it be Anthony Gordon, or, Harvey Barnes could be back in the conversation. Who knows? But he's got to be looking at Jacob Murphy, boys. He's got to be in this current form. Is there a better right winger in the Premier League? I genuinely don't think there is. He keeps defying the critics, doesn't he? And we haven't criticised Jacob Murphy for a long time. We've said that fair play to him. He's performing week in, week out. He's a solid, steady player. But I tell you what, in the last few games, this year really, he hasn't half upped it a notch. He's been absolutely brilliant, and long may it continue. He's been incredible, and what a finish! What a finish! So good.
Absolutely, mate. The one thing I'll say on Jacob Murphy before I talk about the goal is that there are players that have been called up to England for a lot less, and the fact that he's done it over a whole season now, pulling up the numbers that he is. It's just absolutely sensational. But Jacob Murphy, before this goal, he was already providing killer moments in the game. His movement, his crossing, his directness, they just couldn't handle it. I felt sorry. Felt sorry, maybe a tad, for Mitchell, because he did not know what day of the week it was. He did not know what to do. Mark Gay, brilliant centre back, struggled to deal with it in a back three. Didn't know whether to come, whether to stay. It was all over the place because he played in that little half space in between them both, and they just didn't know how to deal with him. And he's so quick. People don't talk about how quick he is. He's so deceptively quick, and he makes quick movements, quick actions with the ball. And what's great about it is he comes out in his interview in Sky, if anyone's watched it, and he goes, "Yeah, I did mean it. I meant exactly what I intended to do." And I loved it. And he was like, these are his words, or close to his words. He said, when the juices are flowing, you do what needs to be done, or something along those lines. I might be getting the exact words wrong there, but he definitely mentioned the words juice or juicy in there. And that was all I needed to hear from Jacob Murphy. But what a strike. There wasn't really much on as a direct option as a cross into the box. But the one thing that you can do is catch the goalkeeper off guard. And Dean Henderson was not expecting that whatsoever. And the great thing about it is that he puts it into the one area of the goal that Dean Henderson was never getting to. And it was right in that top corner stanchion, up into the roof of the net. And you know what, lads? We deserve that, because we started that game bloody well. We started that game so well. Really on the front foot, direct, dominating, attacking, intense, high press. Everything was there from the team. We needed that early goal, really, just to set the pace. And it fully deserved. Brilliant stuff. Love it from Jacob Murphy. Hey, long may it continue. Let's keep the good times rolling.
Definitely.
Keep those good times rolling. Chris, I think we have some super chats to get to.
We do, mate. We, as everybody knows, we have to prioritize the super chats. We have to get them in straight away. And none other than Jeff, Big Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much, mate. Next time, get a comment in there, get a question in there, mate. But thank you so much for the super chat. Generous as always, Jeff. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. We also have a message here from Luke, who's been a member for 5 months. Luke, thank you very much for sticking with us, mate. Buzzing with that, we are the sum of our parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's collective.
Yeah. And then John Elliott. John, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. John says Tonali is the dog's bollocks and the alliance is official. I love that.
We said the same thing in our chat.
We said brilliant, John. Brilliant.
Mr. Elliott, you. We weren't going to talk about that yet, but hey, is it over? Is it done?
We'll still get a few more top table talks out of it, I think. But
we'll save the top table talk, eh, boys?
Yeah. I agree with that Tonali comment, though. I was just thinking there. I'm going to go off topic for a second, but Jesus, I think Tonali will very soon be on the shortlist for a Ballon d'Or. I just think he's that good, lads. He's
so
just,
good.
he's some footballer.
Oh,
And he plays for our team. It's just mad. I think if Rodri can get in on that list, Tonali has to be in time when we're playing the Champions League. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what's mad about it, lads? And a few people were talking about it today on socials, and a couple of chats that were mentioning as well. The team of the season is out, and the select group of players for that team of the season. Guess who's not on that in the midfield? Sandro Tonali. What's the point? What's the point of having a team of the season and having a pool of players if you ain't got Sandro Tonali in it? Because Sandro Tonali is not just one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. It's that simple. Yeah. If you haven't got Tonali in your team of the season, then your team of the season ain't worth shit. It's as simple as that.
Mate, do you know who's in it? Not to segue, but do you know who's in it, believe it or not?
No.
In the options as team of the season.
Heung-min
Son.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say him.
Heung-min Son.
How?
For what year?
Fucking hell.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, just look at the league table. Just look at the league table alone. Incredible.
Right, boys. We're let's get back on track. Because in 25 minutes, Isak nearly played in Barnes. Isak probably should have taken a touch, and he would have had a clear pass, and then it would be a 1-on-1 for Barnes, but that wasn't to be. 31 minutes. VAR gets involved because Pope comes to clear the ball. He touches the ball. In my eyes, he touches that ball. He gets a little nick on that ball. The ref, the VAR, were trying to do everything to give Palace and the commentary team to give Palace a penalty. The ref went to the monitor. They eventually give the penalty to Palace. As he steps up, and he did a lot of shuffling, and he's a poor penalty, but nevertheless, Popey got on the end of it and got a brilliant save by Popey to keep it 1-0 to Newcastle. Justice is served then with Popey saving that. But boys, thoughts? Was it a penalty for you?
Do you know what? Somebody's going to have to tell me the rules in the Premier League rulebook, because my initial reaction when I saw it was I thought it was harsh. I watched the replay, like the many millions that were watching it at home. So for me, he gets the ball, yes, albeit it's only a brush of the ball, right? But more importantly, also, which I think I need to highlight, and as usual, my red and blue mates were arguing with me over this. One, the goalkeeper's got every right to come out. Now, what I'm going to say is, okay, Nick Pope shouldn't be coming out in that area of his box. It's far too far out, in my opinion. I don't know why he's came for it. So I'll get that out the way, right? But aside from that, he's come out to get the ball, which he's got every right to do. Now, he for me, he's got a touch on it, so it's not a penalty. But also, I have to question the referee, because even if he comes out and, because for me, I think the referee knows he's got some kind of touch on it, or it wouldn't have taken that long. The fact that VAR were looking at it for like 4 minutes tells its own story. And I don't understand how, he's come out for it. To me, boys, and tell me if this is wrong, was it the denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity? No, it wasn't. He has to come out and challenge for the ball. And now, in our opinion, and I'm sure you boys will agree, I do think he brushes the ball. But even if he didn't brush it, let's say for a moment that he completely missed the ball, is it reckless? Yes. Is it stupid? Yes. But is it the denial of a goal scoring opportunity? And is it dangerous? I don't think it is. So for me, I didn't understand it. And like I say, the fact that VAR were looking at it for so long, and even the referee, the referee's going to the monitor, so I'm going, he's going to give a penalty, he's going to give a penalty. Yeah. The referee's looking at it for ages. And I'm thinking even the referee doesn't want to give it. And if you notice, boys, when he first goes over to the screen, I think he looks at the images about 5 times, and you can hear him talking to them as if to say, sorry, what am I looking at here? I don't understand. What's the problem with my decision? Because I'm looking at it. He brushes the ball, and to me, it seems all right. And it's as if the VAR have gone, no, we think it's this. And he's gone, Okay, all right, yes, penalty. I just wish the referee had stuck by his initial decision, because the correct decision was no penalty, in my opinion. But I'd love to hear your boys' opinions on it as well.
Your thoughts there, Pete?
It's not a penalty for me, lads. I'm sorry. It's not a penalty for me. I was annoyed because, like, the incident happened. If the player hadn't stayed down and just jumped back up and carried on, VAR wouldn't have even looked at it. The fact that he stayed down and needed treatment has given them a reason to look at it. And that's where the problem lies, is that a player's down and getting treatment, and they've used it as an opportunity to look at it, and then almost created a scenario that didn't need to happen in that situation. The goalkeeper is allowed to come out and collect and try and compete for a ball. If that, it's the same when the striker jumps up to compete with the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper gets touched slightly and they give a free kick. It's like, well, the striker's allowed to compete for the ball. So what's the issue there? It's exactly the same with the goalkeeper. It's within the area. It's not like it's out of the 18-yard box, which would be a different conversation. He's actually in the area. It's his domain. He's allowed to go and compete with it. And if he takes out a player, he takes out a player because that's his area to deal with it. Now, he doesn't really even take him out. He barely sort of touches him. I think the player goes down far too cheaply, in my opinion. But the point that I'll go to, and it kind of fits into what Chris is saying with the VAR. The VAR have convinced the referee to give the penalty. They absolutely have. And you can see, Chris is right. He's looking at it, and normally it takes a few seconds to look at it, and he goes, yeah, okay, good decision. Yeah, right, I've made the wrong decision. Ref, absolutely. Decision made. But absolutely. The fact that he kept looking at it, they were almost trying to justify why he needed to look at the monitor. And the bit that got me is I'm looking at the referee, and the referee's almost saying to them, and he's doing the motion as in hope get something on it. And he's almost saying to the VAR through the monitor, does he not swipe the ball away from the player? Because that's what he does. When he comes out, he comes out to get something, to punch it initially, but then because he can't quite punch it, he almost kind of swipes it away, like in the same motion of where the ball's moving. And he gets something on it which moves the ball away. It's slight, but he gets something on it to move the ball away. And that's what the referee's saying. And you can see him saying it, and he does the motion as if to like say he's moving the ball away. They're clearly telling him, no, he's not. It's a penalty. And so then he makes the decision that it's the penalty. And that's the issue here with VAR, is that they're trying to change the referee's mind when the referee really didn't need to change his mind in that situation, because the referee was clear in his mind. It wasn't a foul. They've then used the player stoppage to manifest something, and it then becomes a penalty, which is absolutely the wrong thing of what VAR was created for. It's a ridiculous decision. But as what's been said, and what we saw, this is why Nick Pope is a very good goalkeeper, because whatever he gives on the pitch and in game, what we have seen from him since he signed from Newcastle United, mostly in cup competitions, is that he is a very good penalty saver. And for me, it was an excellent penalty save.
Lads,
I'll tell you what though, it was a bloody awful penalty as well. It was it was horrific. I mean, fair play to Pope for standing his ground and reading it. But like, if you're Eze, he does that silly run that you were saying, Daz, and then he pauses and he's looking at Pope, and like Pope hasn't moved. Pope like kind of goes like that as if he's gonna go, but he doesn't, and then he just taps it. He doesn't even get it in the corner. And you just think, Pope's got to do is just go, thanks very much. Dreadful.
That's what a lot of these players do now. That's why, like, Eze did like a double fake. Or a double fade, just to kind of what he wanted to do. He almost wanted to commit the goalkeeper so he could just roll it into the far corner. And Pope almost, it's a really smart move that he does. Yeah. Pope stands his ground, and then he almost, on the second fade, he goes to his right, Eze's left, and he kind of shifts his body that way to give him the feeling that he's going that way. And that's why Eze just rolls it into the far corner, but he doesn't go down. And so he shifts his body that way and then goes down the other side and just collects it, because that's what a lot of these penalty takers now, They're not putting it in the corners. They're just putting it the other side of the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
So it doesn't have to be a great penalty. And if it goes in, everyone's going to say, "Oh, he gave him the eyes, great penalty." Well, when it happens like that, it's shocking. I've got to say, lads, I don't know about you. Oh,
boys, there's only 3 Will Smiths in this world, and we've got 2 of them in our chat. Just think about that one. Think about that. That's how big loaded it is.
There was just the one thing I was going to say on last thing. That penalty was saved. His head was on Jupiter somewhere after that, because he saying, but that's what I saw at that point. His head was gone.
Yeah,
you're sorry, Pete. Your intro was just slightly breaking up there at the end, but we got the end of it. Boys, let's kick on because on 37 minutes, a great move from Newcastle. Burn onto J7 onto Tino onto Barnes. Barnes tries to play it across, takes a deflection off Gahey, who scores in the second. I'm going to give him the goal to Barnes, but scores a second own goal for Newcastle to make it 2-0 to some straight back up the pitch. But Harvey Barnes will tear you apart again. Making it 2-0. Where's my pictures for this one? Here they are. So yes, 2-0. Then Newcastle Barnes / Gay with that one. Cue the celebrations from Newcastle. But great move from Newcastle, lads. What are you having with that one?
Go on, Pete. You go, mate.
I don't know if my internet is okay. So
no, you don't.
It's good now.
Hopefully it's good, but it was the perfect reaction that we needed, boys. Lovely breakaway. We just looked lightning quick on the counter, and it was just brilliant work. Lovely movement from Harvey Barnes just to create that space. And you're looking. I don't know about you boys, but when that ball's there and he's obviously coming in off the left-hand side, I'm looking at Isak because Isak looks so desperate to score tonight, and he's made that movement there, and he's just like, "Give me the ball." And he does. To be fair, he does play. I think it's an own goal. But I'm more than happy.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy for Harvey Barnes to have it if they do eventually give it to him. But it did look like an own goal. But if Gay doesn't get a touch on it, I do think it rolls to Isak, and Isak slots that one home. But look, the deflection from Gay is desperate. He's just desperate now. He's scored 2 goals for Newcastle United already this season. Look, he might as well just put in his transfer request right now and just go, I want to sign for it. That's his 2nd goal for the Toon, and he ain't even signed on the dotted line yet this season. But look, he gets the deflection on it. It wrong foots the keeper and goes in. And at that point, we're just like, you know what? I think I said it to you boys in the chat. With the penalty save, I just put redemption. We deserve that after it not being a penalty in the first place. Then going up the other end and scoring it was just so fitting of what we actually deserved in the game at that point. So brilliant stuff, brilliant breakaway, attacking movement, lovely stuff from Harvey Barnes. I'm running out of superlatives to describe this player at the moment. He's playing so well, and I'm sure we'll talk about him again in just a second. But really well deserved, and fully deserved the 2-0 lead, boys.
Chris, the 2nd goal for Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm just watching it back to refresh myself, mate. But yeah, it was a brilliant breakaway goal. And Pete's right, on the counter attack, we were just deadly tonight, absolutely deadly. And I thought the midfield as a whole was brilliant. But yeah, Joelinton picks up the ball, passes it to Tino. Tino Livramento on that left back position, boys. Jesus, like he's just getting better and better as the games go on. Like he was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, slides it in through to Harvey Barnes, who Harvey Barnes is trying to cross it, and you're right, Pete. It does take a nick off Mark Gay for his 2nd own goal for Newcastle. But yeah, you take it however way, don't you? And I think it kind of shows how quickly games can change, or it can be on the edge of a knife because, we'd gone a few minutes before from it potentially becoming 1-1, which would have been unjust, to then making it 2-0. And that just changed the whole dynamic of the game. So yeah, I was really pleased when it went in. But as much as it wasn't the most prettiest of goals, it's what happens in the build-up. It's how the goal's created, which is so impressive. And it's consistent with, what we've seen in the last few weeks, and particularly tonight.
Right, on to 40 minutes, and how, I don't have this picture in the system, but how has Isak not scored? I do not know, and neither does he, because trips onto Barnes, onto Isak. He's 2 chances and still no joy. You're actually feeling sorry for him now at this stage, because he's doing everything right, but not putting the ball in the back of the net. Unlucky there, but 43 minutes, a great double save by Pope. It was offside anyway, but it wouldn't have stood. But well done. 47 minutes. Tonali onto Barnes on the run. Wow, a 1-on-1. He shoots and puts it into the far corner. Barnes will tear you apart again. But yeah, look at that. We're 3-0 then at this stage. Barnes with the third. Here's that shot and finish, and QE celebration as well, which we all love to see. There we go. What are you making of that one, boys?
Oh, it capped off a brilliant. I think I said this to you, Daz, before the show, before Pete joined. It capped off a brilliant performance from Bruno Guimarães in that first half. He was unbelievable. The stats may not show, when you look at the goals and assists, Bruno may not get the credit he deserves, but that first half, Bruno Guimarães was just pulling the strings. Bruno wins the ball deep, plays a great ball through to Sandro Tonali. Sandro Tonali's got it all to do. We're all looking, obviously, because we can see from the distance. Sandro knows anyway. We can all see from the distance, set Harvey Barnes off, set him off, and Sandro does like this reverse pass. It's a brilliant pass. He's doing it like on the half turn, sends Barnes on his way. And I don't know about you boys, but I was doing it. I just kept saying, cut in. He feigns to cut in. The defender almost gives him half a yard because he thinks he's going to cut in onto his right, and instead he goes on his left and just finishes it. And it's a brilliant finish. It's an absolutely brilliant finish. And you know what, boys? Like I'm one of Anthony Gordon's biggest fans since he joined Newcastle. I had doubts when Anthony Gordon first joined Newcastle, but since he's been here, he's been absolutely brilliant. But that goal from Barnes, that third goal, I almost felt in my head saying to myself, Gordon wasn't scoring that. Gordon wasn't, but that was a typical Harvey Barnes goal. And this is why it's so difficult at the moment to split Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon, because Harvey Barnes in front of goal, when he gets a shot off, he's deadly. He is absolutely deadly. And the one element for Harvey Barnes, one of a few elements that I not have doubts over with him, but where I question whether he's as good as Anthony Gordon, is that pace, that direct running. He's not. Harvey Barnes isn't known for really running at a man and taking him on, but this is what we're seeing. This is exactly what we're seeing at the moment. And that little intricate move that he does, like he's going to cut in, then he doesn't, switches onto his left and then fires it across the goal. It's just a fantastic goal. It really, really is. And it was great build-up play, as I say. Started from Bruno, straight to Sandro. Really difficult reverse pass. Splits. I'd love to count it. If you count the seconds from Bruno all the way up to Barnes actually hitting the ball in the back of the net, it was probably about 7 or 8 seconds. It's quick and it was direct. And this is why we were so good this evening. Palace just couldn't keep up with us. They really, really couldn't. It's that technical excellence that we've got at the moment. Everything's just falling nicely for us, and it was a brilliant goal. Absolutely brilliant goal.
Let's go to Mr. Pete Davey, who for a long time now has been bigging up, I think is the correct way to phrase it, Mr. Harvey Barnes. Do you feel justified, Pete?
I love him. I love him. It's not even about being justified. I trust his ability. That's why I've been singing his praises. This is why I've been backing him, even when he's not played well, even when he's had the odd game. Even when he scores goals, is I get so sort of like emotionally attached to him because I know how good he is. Watched him for years at Leicester City, knowing how good he is. You know, it goes back to the fundamentals, boys. Before I get onto the goal, it goes back to the fundamentals. Yes, he doesn't track back as much as Anthony Gordon. Yes, he doesn't cover as much ground as Anthony Gordon, but that's not why Newcastle United signed him. They signed him because they wanted a killer in the final third. They wanted a killer in front of goal. They wanted someone on the counter-attack that has the ability to cause nightmares for fullbacks. And that's what Harvey Barnes has been doing. Now, like, just, you know, we haven't seen the real Harvey Barnes until right now, until this moment. These last games from West Ham all the way through till now, this is the Harvey Barnes that we paid 38 million for. We haven't seen this type of Harvey Barnes. Why? It's because he hasn't had a proper run in the team. You can't give a player 5, 10, 15 minutes a game for weeks on end and expect him to produce miracles every time. It's not possible for any player, not just Harvey Barnes, for any player. Injuries haven't helped him. You know, gets a foot injury out for 5 months. So like, who can prepare for that? You know, it's not his fault. It's the situation, and great form from Anthony Gordon last season. Let's be honest, superb, elite level performances. But what we're seeing now is a Harvey Barnes that is fit, that is firing, that has been told he's the man, and that he's starting and flowing with confidence. This is what Harvey Barnes can do, and what he's now developed is an understanding. And this part's really important, lads. What Harvey Barnes is starting to develop right now is a tactical understanding of what he needs to do when he's on the pitch for Newcastle United. Tactically, where he needs to be, what positions he needs to take up, whether he comes in, comes inside, whether he goes out onto the touchline, where he needs to be in counter-attacks. When we're having a counter-attack, you don't see him right next to Tino Livramento back in the left-back position. What you see him is far up on the pitch, almost alongside Isak, because when you want to be breaking away, you want him with Isak. You want both of them running at the fullbacks. And that's exactly what you got. And that goal that we're talking about right now typifies what Harvey Barnes has done his whole career. Give him the opportunity on a counter-attack, one-on-one with his fullback, and he will cause nightmares. And that's exactly what he does. I was the same as you, Chris. We expect him to go inside because that's his go-to, but isn't that the fullback's expectation too?
Mate,
so what he's now added to his game is keeping them guessing. Just that little shift over with the ball, shift it to his left, boom into that far corner, right into the side netting. Henderson had a decent game tonight, had no chance of getting anywhere near that. And Harvey Barnes just loves to score goals. And I trust him every day of the week when he's in that position. And it was just such a great goal. And that effectively killed it as a contest. Alice knew, we knew that game was over at that point. And you know what? I'm so pleased for him. So pleased for Harvey Barnes. He has got stick from some circles. He has had question marks thrown at him. But regular footballers now put him firmly as number one choice at left winger. And look, this is no slant on Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon now has to do what Harvey Barnes had to do, is be patient, come on, play well, and earn his strikes back. He has to earn that position. Let's not forget, he got sent off against Brighton. That was down to him. Nobody else, down to him. We can't just allow him to waltz back into this team. He has to earn his spot. And when Barnes is playing like this, he's now got to work even harder when he comes onto the pitch to earn his strikes back onto the pitch. And look, haven't we as Newcastle United fans wanted this? Competition in positions is going to bring the best out of everyone and almost elevate the level of every single player on the pitch. So look, and big props to Harvey Barnes. Love what he's doing. Love the guy so much. I think he's a super talented player, and it's a sensational breakaway goal.
You are right, Peter, and we're going to add to that in the summer as well. A bit of that competition. You trust Harvey Barnes. I trust our chatters. Anyone watching this back, because there's nearly 300 watching. Smash that like button. You know what to do. If you're new, hit the subscribe button as well. It'll enable the chat. You'll be able to chat with everyone straight away. Right, let's move on. Tino put his foot in to clear some danger as we edge towards half time. we are not done yet because Newcastle take a free kick. Trips just taps it to Murphy, ball in, and who's on it? Sure, with his header. He's been looking for a goal for a while since he signed that contract. He's got it now. Here's the header from Shar, and cue the celebration. Tongue out, give it loads. Boys, 4-0 up after that goal, taking us to half time. What do you make of that one from Shar?
Pete, go on, mate.
You know what, lads? It was a superbly worked free kick. I think it threw everybody, including me. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
You know, the little drag back from Trippier, the ball in for Murphy. Jesus Christ, man.
Brilliant.
Again.
The ball is absolute pinpoint accuracy. It's very clear that they'd worked on that. It's very clear that Jason Tindall's been implementing his free kick or set piece specialists over the course of these training sessions, because that was a perfectly worked free kick. It just completely set or unsettled Palace's centre backs and their defensive line. Shaw just waltzes into that little pocket of space, and Murphy finds that pocket of space with pinpoint accuracy. There's no goalkeeper in the world that's saving that. And let's face it, Shaw doesn't have to do a lot. The ball, all he has to do is just guide it. All he does is get a little flick on it just to guide it into that far corner. And I'm in dreamland, lads. I'm in dreamland. I'm going absolutely mental at this point. I'm thinking, like, I think my reaction to it going in was just like, wow. Like, what are we seeing right here, right now from Newcastle United? Because, you know, the Palace just could not handle us. It was just a brilliantly worked free kick, superb balling from Murphy, lovely flicked header from Shaw. At that point, I did flick up the league table and I did have a look at it, and it looked good.
Don't you worry, Tom. Wolfie is watching. Wolfie, his eyes everywhere. He hunts and packs.
I've got these boys on strings right now, just because I was talking to Billy about our game Saturday. We'll talk about that in a second, and I basically said I think Villa will get Champions League alongside Newcastle United. So everyone in that chat is holding on, going, "Who's dropping out?" One of the first ones to come in was Wolfie said, "Yeah, Pete, who's dropping out?" Oh. And I'm just like, my hands are up. I'm busy right now. I'm on a show, and maybe tomorrow morning. So it's just why I dropped that one.
It's nice to be sitting top of that pack there, actually. Now, when I look at the table. But Chris, I want to get your thoughts on Fabian Schär's goal.
I can't really expand too much on what Pete said. I completely agree with everything he said. It was definitely meant. And what I particularly liked, because I was talking to our Callum, he was sat next to me, and I said to him, it's going back post, because cleverly, and I'm sure you boys saw it, Dan Burn runs over to Trippier and Murphy, and, you know, having a little chat, and then everyone's thinking, and then Dan Burn goes to the back post, and then everyone's thinking this is going to get looped over to Dan Burn. This is what was brilliant, because Trippier runs over it, little back heel, and the ball, as you say, Pete, the ball from Murphy is pinpoint. It's got so much pace on it, and it's one of those balls where it's in the perfect area. It's hit really, really well, isn't it? You know, it's a lot of pace on it, and all Schär's got to do is just redirect it, just put a little bit on it, and he heads it perfectly. And you're right, no keeper's saving that. But it was a key goal as well, boys. Like, I'm not saying at 3-0 I was worried or anything like that, but when you go in at half time, you're 4-0 up. It's like, this is done. And I think we were in the chat, weren't we, all saying, like, get J7 off, get him off right now, just get him off at half time. The job is done. But yeah, 4-0 half time. It's a fantastic goal to go in, isn't it? And yeah, what a great goal! In many ways, you could argue it was the best goal of the four. For me, I do love that. I do love that Barnes goal, the third goal and Barnes' second goal technically. But that fourth one was special, and that, you know, the fact that a lot of work and effort has gone into planning that. And you saw the way Kevin Trippier reacted as well. He was screaming at Jacob Murphy, probably saying, what a ball, what a ball. And the fact that all that work had paid off. So, yeah, it was brilliant. And, yeah, going in 4-0 half-time is fabulous.
Let's get into that second half, because as the next thing I wrote down here, Chris, is we are calling for take J7 off, save him from himself, because we know what happened when he was going off against Man United as well. He did not want to get off the pitch, and he wanted to lamp someone. But Isak on the 50th minute has a shot saved by Henderson. Again, Isak unlucky, not his night. Yes. What is happening for Isak? We're all wondering at this stage. But on 7 minutes later, J7 intercepts again, as he did for the goal for Bruno. He intercepts it, and he lays it on for Isak, who some finish, some shot on him, but he finally gets his goal to make it 5 on the night for Newcastle. Cue a celebration from Isak. What are you making of that one, boys?
I'm screaming the house down at this point. I'm screaming the house down because Alexander Isak getting on the score sheet tonight was integral. We mentioned this earlier, didn't we, boys? I think it was Pete who said it. That Alexander Isak the last couple of games has cut a frustrated figure. You could tell he's all about the team. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting he's selfish, but you can just see that little tinge of disappointment that the fact the ball hasn't broken to him, or the fact that he's not the one putting it in the back of the net, because that's obviously what he wants to do. But he is all about the team, so I'm not suggesting he's wholly selfish. But there is that little tinge of sadness. But the fact that Joelinton presses, wins that ball back, and Isak, without thinking, natural instinct, just hits it. I kept saying to Lisa, I think I was doing it then, I said to her, just watch where the ball lands in the net. It's literally right in the corner. And he's just hit it immediately. I thought, as soon as he hit it, I thought he's hit it too early. He's too early. Why is he not running to the box? He hits it so sweet. And he leaves Dean Henderson with no opportunity, no chance to save it. It's a brilliant finish. It's a really, really brilliant finish. And do you know what? I'm made up for Alexander Isak that he scored. He's broken that duck. The commentator said it a couple of times. Oh, Alexander Isak hasn't scored for a little while. He must be really frustrated. The fact that he's got that goal, and he had a couple of opportunities. The one that you mentioned at the start of the game, Daz, I think it was the first few minutes. Really, he should have scored. But when I watched it back, Alexander Isak does everything right. And in fairness, it was a really good save from Dean Henderson. It was a really good save. He got down really well for that. So I will give him that. But even in the last couple of games, Isak's had opportunities and they've been blocked or saved. But that finish was emphatic. It was a brilliant, brilliant finish. It really, really was. And if you haven't seen it back, I encourage everyone to watch it back, because when he gets hold of the ball, he just hits it so quickly. We always say on air, don't we, that it's not easy to do. Genuinely, that is such a good finish. He's not hesitated for the moment, and he's put it right in the bottom corner. It's a great finish, and I'm made up for him. And it's 5-0, and I'm in dreamland at this point.
Speaking of dreamland, is it not something dreamland? No. Never mind that.
Load of dreams. Load of dreams.
Load of dreams. That was it. Load of dreams.
Don't start with that load of dreams. Oh my god. We've just stopped talking about
it. Pete, thoughts on Isak's goal to make it 5?
When it went in, I was just like, thank God for that. Because as Chris mentioned, he was desperate for that goal. He was very frustrated. He was obviously happy for the people that were scoring, but you could tell he wanted to be scoring goals. And isn't that great to see, that your striker's so desperate to want to put the ball in the net and wants those goals and wants those numbers, because that's what we had with Shearer. That's what we had with Demba Ba and Cisse to a point, Remy. All these guys wanted to put the ball in the net. Proper strikers do. They want goals. They want numbers. They want to be top scorers, the lot. So great to see. But that finish is absolutely stunning. I agree with what Chris said. Absolutely stunning finish. You know what? The press from Joelinton. The way he plays, you would never think he was on 9 yellow cards because he's just full throttle regardless of the moment. Like if that was like anyone else in that situation, they'd be a little bit more reserved, not wanting to get involved in duels and tackles because you don't want to give a needless free kick away that's going to give you a cheap yellow card. He gets stuck in. He's pressing high. Lacroix, I thought was poor tonight. I really like him as a centre back. I thought he's had a great season at Palace, but he was really poor tonight, and he was dispatched quite easily from Joelinton. And the reason why Isak scores for me is because he takes it when he does. It's because the goalkeeper's not set. The goalkeeper's not expecting the ball to be won off Maxence Lacroix in that position from Joelinton. He's not expecting it to fall straight to Isak, and he's not expecting Isak to take the shot early. So he's almost backing into his goal, trying to get back into position and get set, but the ball's already been hit. And to be fair, he nearly gets there. He does really well. Dean Henderson's a good goalkeeper, by the way. He's a good goalkeeper. He makes good saves. He covers his ground well in his goal. But the one place Dean Henderson can't get into is the place where Alexander Isak puts the ball. And there's one person you trust in that position, and it's Alexander Isak to take that ball early with the technique that he's got. It's a brilliant finish. And you know what I love about that? Was that Alexander Isak probably could have had 4 goals tonight, and he missed 3 of the chances earlier on before that. And you could quite easily get frustrated or a little bit downbeat by the fact that he'd not scored. Not Isak. Like, he saves his best finish for the last opportunity, clear opportunity that he has. And in that moment where you're desperate for a goal and you haven't scored for 2 games, to produce that moment just shows the class of the man. And you could see the relief on his face when he runs off. He's so happy that he scored. He's buzzing that he gets the goal. And when he pulls off that celebration, you know what time it is. And what's that? 21 Premier League goals for the season. There's more to come before the end of the season, that's for sure.
Not done yet. I saw Andy's name popping up there, Andy DB. Boys, Andy sent us a lovely message as well on the cup win as well. Voice note. Just I forgot to say that to you, but cheers, Andy.
Nice. Cheers, Andy.
Right. Yeah. So after that, really, it's just subs. Murphy off, Gordon on. Barnes goes out to the right. Gordon goes left. J7 off. Yes, he saved. He saved for himself on the 60th minute. Wilk on. On the 71 minute, Isak off. Wilson on. Barnes. Bruno off. Longstaff on. And on the 77th minute, Trips off. Kraftku on. For full time. 5-0 Newcastle as we go marching on. EIEIO up the Premier League we go. JT, another dog for the Mad Dog. I've added to the list of these as they continue to come through. But we'll go straight to the table, lads.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's look at the mini table first before we look at the big one. But here it is. So we are sitting in third spot there now on 59 points, 4 points behind Arsenal and 2 points ahead of Nottingham Forest, 4 points ahead of Manchester City, and 5 points ahead of Chelsea. Look at that. That looks sweet there now as things stand. We can move to the bigger table to get a better view. Well, it mightn't be a better view, but it captures more on it because you underneath that you have Aston Villa, who are also on 54 points, and Bournemouth are on 48 points. Look, everyone's played 32 games now, so it's an even playing field. But yeah, the Bournemouth look to be out of contention now, catching us anyway, because we are 11 points clear of them. So you're really talking from the top 7 as the bunch now to go towards to try and work their way into those Champions League spots. And we are sitting pretty. But yeah, thoughts, lads, on the table.
Yeah, so for me, I think we can start not conclusively, but I think we can safely say, in my opinion, The fight for top 5 is definitely it definitely stops at 7 for me now. I think Bournemouth and Fulham and Brighton are too far away. I know they're all on 48 points, and technically they're only 7 points behind City, but I don't see either Bournemouth, Fulham, or Brighton picking up enough points, and any of the clubs from 5th upwards dropping enough points for them to catch up. I just don't see it. So for me, I think it's the top 7. So it's basically a fight. I think Arsenal are safely going to get top 5, but I think it's a fight between ourselves all the way down to Villa. And three of those teams will end up in the top 5. And the fact that we've put ourselves in the position that we have, as Jamie Carragher said the other day, you'd say Newcastle are in near on certainty to finish in the top 5, and I wouldn't go that far. Maybe because I'm a Newcastle fan, and because I always have that slight little niggling doubt in the back of my mind. But we're certainly in a fantastic position, and I think we said, didn't we, boys, a while back, that it was about us trying to be the best in this mini group, trying to be the best team in this mini group, and aim as high as we possibly can. Aim for 3rd, aim for 2nd, and if we fall just short, we'll get in that top 5. And that's what Eddie, Jason Tindall, and the boys have all been obviously doing. We're treating all the games like cup finals, and that is clearly being shown. Tough game at the weekend. But I did watch the PSV Villa game last night, and I think there could be some tired legs out there, and Villa will obviously be a little bit upset at what happened. I think it was a tough night for them, but they did themselves proud, and they like us, will now that cup competition is out the way, so to speak. Obviously, didn't win it. We did win our cup competition, but they will solely be focused now on the top 5 race. So it's going to be
also FA Cup. They're also in the FA Cup, Chris.
Yeah, of course. Actually, I forgot about that, Taz. Yeah, good point. But I think they will be for me. I still think that they will be wanting to finish in that top 5, and they're more than capable of it. And but it'll be a tough game for us on Saturday. I think it will be a tough game, but the way we're playing at the moment, I fancy us against anyone, if I'm honest. So yeah, the league table's looking great, and more importantly, which I think we mentioned on the last show, we've done our goal difference, a nice big favour tonight, getting those 5 extra goals. I think now, Daz,
21.
We're up to 21. Yeah, so obviously before the night started, we were on 16. Now we're on 21, and we all know that's effectively like an extra point, isn't it? So it's huge. It's huge for us. It's really tonight's result is just brilliant, and I think we're in a great position. So the league table is sweet reading this evening.
Pete, let's get your thoughts on the table as it stands.
Yeah, you know what the biggest. Aside from the fact that we finished the night in 3rd, which was the aim right from the beginning, whether it was draw or win, it was an emphatic win. So we're comfortably in 3rd. Like you said, goal difference is up. I think the goal difference now is better than anybody else in the mix of the top 7.
Yeah.
Between us and Villa in 3rd and 7th. Yeah, we're 21, Man City are 20, Chelsea are 17. So, getting that goal difference up was a big plus for us tonight. But the other second takeaway from that is that we are now only second to Liverpool in terms of games won. So we've won 18 games this season.
Yeah.
We are only second to Liverpool, who are on 23rd. So 23. So Arsenal won 17, Forest have won 17, Man City have won 16. So we've won 2 more games than Man City have this season, 3 more than Chelsea and Villa. And that, for me, in itself tells the story. We drew less than we did in our previous Champions League season when we actually got Champions League 2 years ago. We've obviously lost more, but we've won pretty much around the same amount. I think we won 18 or 19 to get Champions League football 2 years ago. So we're already hit that target already. And obviously to secure Champions League football, we're probably going to have to hit the 20 mark, which I genuinely believe we will. And that's the great thing about it, is that we're winning matches. We're not drawing matches. We're not limping over the line by getting points here and there. We're emphatically winning games and getting 3 points on the board. the game on Saturday will be difficult. I think after Saturday will give us a better idea of not necessarily whether we're going to get Champions League football or not. It's probably where we're going to finish within that system. If we can go to Villa and win, there's a lot of people that are saying, third is on. Well, there's a lot of other people that are saying second is potentially on, only, 4 points behind Arsenal. There's a question mark there. If we can go to Villa and win, puts the cat amongst the pigeons there in terms of putting pressure on Arsenal, who have just got into the final of the Champions League tonight. That's clearly going to be their focus moving forward. And then we have Ipswich to come at St James's Park after that, which you would expect us to then go on and continue the good form and win again. So then you're already looking at the best part of 65 points on the board just after those two games, if we can. Villa's going to be a difficult game. There's no doubt about it. Doing a bit of spying last night, watched them quite closely. Everyone will talk about their fight back, and I spoke to Billy about this today. A great fight back, fair play, but PSG took their foot off the gas. There's no doubt about it. PSG, if they wanted to, could have got 3 or 4 by half time. I saw gaps in their defence.
Yeah.
Gaps in their defence that on counter-attack we can absolutely exploit. Harvey Barnes, Isak, Murphy could massively exploit their fullbacks. Their fullbacks are a problem for Aston Villa. They're not good defensively, and I think we can exploit them there. Obviously, they've got good attacking players, and we need to be defensively astute to keep them out. I think Donnarumma doesn't like coming off his line. We know that when we beat them last season at St James's Park. He sticks to his line. I think Pope hasn't got a lot of praise tonight. Pope's sweeping was excellent tonight. Very, very good. And I think if he can do that at Villa Park, that will take a hell of a lot of pressure off the defence. And that's where PSG really struggled, because they didn't have that person, that keeper, to take the pressure off their defence. Balls are getting whipped in right in the 6-yard box, and they were having to defend it. Pope will come and collect that. So they're just little aspects of the game that I think could go in our favour. But it's going to be a difficult game. If you're giving me a point now to take out of Villa Park, I'm taking it from you. I'm taking a point from you. It means that Villa don't gain on us, albeit we don't gain on them. But it puts us another point up to our objective, and we move on to Ipswich. I take that all day. But if we can go there and win, wow, that puts us. That for me, that tells me that we're pretty much there. And I might be going too far with that statement.
No, I agree.
Villa and win with Ipswich coming next, and we can put potentially 6 points on the board. For me, I think we're pretty much there. But yeah, I'm looking at that league. It looks very, very good right now, and obviously a lot of teams around us will be nervous. And the great thing about it, lads, and I got this image. It was from Sky. I'll see if I might not be able to get it. I did grab an image. I'll see if I can grab it in a second if you want to move on to something else, because I think this image was actually quite it was quite an interesting image, and I think it told us a lot about where we're going with regards to the rest of the Premier League season.
Make some space for you, Pete, if you need to. Well, while you're looking for that, Pete, let's go to the team photo, because I think you put this in the system as well. But here is the team photo with everyone in there again. Obviously, missing Eddie Howe. Get well soon, Eddie, as well. But everyone looking good. Another love in those photos.
Very good. Very good.
Absolutely. Well, from what I've seen already. 1 second. Yeah.
And of course, while you're still looking for that, Pete, I just give my thoughts on the table. Look at I said the last day, blow it up now, giving fifth, and I'll take it off your hands. And of course, Champions League football, I'll be happy with that, and I still would be happy with that. But now I might be getting a bit greedy, because second spot is there for the taking. And like Arsenal will continue to take their foot off the gas. I think in the Premier League, their focus is going to be. Are they in the FA Cup as well? Arsenal, I can't remember.
Arsenal,
but
no,
they're not.
No.
Okay.
No,
But
it's only City, isn't it?
It's only City. Okay.
With the big.
And we have to play Arsenal as well. So that could swing in our favor if we're going for a second. But let's take it one game at a time, as they always say, and focus on that game coming up against Villa on Saturday evening. Yeah. Did I buy you enough time, Pete?
I've just got to do a quick shout out as well. My mate in the chat, Mike Mason. He says, "Can Chris all give Mike Mason a date? Still waiting to meet up, Mike. I will be in touch, mate, and we will meet up for the bevy, 100%. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. I haven't seen Mike for ages, but yeah, he's asking there for the date. He's been asking me for weeks, months, even. So Mike, we will arrange a bevy, mate, and never mind about the Carabao Cup. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's nice.
I have got the image. I had to get it from another way. It's just a picture that I took off the screen from Sky, and this basically sets out the fixtures and it gives you the percentages as well. So the race for the Champions League now it obviously has us at 91.9% chance of qualifying for the Champions League at this point.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, it's saying that we've got a very good chance from what it's showing there. But what's interesting about this, boys, and this is what I wanted to bring up about obviously our chances of Champions League, because we've got tough games within that, but so is everybody else. As Wolfie said to us, Forest don't play until the Monday against Spurs, so they're playing last and they're going away to Spurs. A team like Forest aren't in good form right now. Wolfie was confident a couple of weeks ago, saying, "Oh, the rest of their fixtures are more than winnable." He's not worried about their fixtures. By the time they get to Chelsea, it won't even matter. Well, I'm looking at their fixtures now with the way they're playing. I'm looking at Spurs away, not easy. I'm looking at Brentford at home. Brentford can cause disruption. They got a point at the Emirates. Palace away, okay, fair enough. Palace, we've swiped them aside, but they're a different entity at Selhurst Park. Leicester, fair enough. West Ham, fair enough. But then the Chelsea game becomes massive. So there's still time for Forest to drop points. They've got an FA Cup semi-final in between that. So one of those fixtures is going to get moved to a later date. If it hasn't been already, it might even be the Brentford one on May the 1st. You're looking at that. Then you're looking at Man City. Difficult fixtures. Everton away won't be easy. Then Villa and Man City play each other. That they're going to drop points there. You're looking at that, and Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, not necessarily easy games, but certainly their next two are going to be difficult. Chelsea's is difficult. Fulham away won't be easy for them. Everton ain't easy. And then you got those last four games are not easy, especially when they come to St. James's Park. And then you got Villa. Villa's next to a rock solid in terms of, they're going to need to get 6 points if they're going to be within a conversation. And there's a high chance that they won't get that. But then having to play Fulham, Bournemouth, who are both fighting for European football themselves. Tottenham and Man United, we don't know what type of team we're going to get from them. You look at those results, boys, and there's a lot of teams that are playing each other or playing difficult games within that. And you're thinking, okay, you want to be at the top of the pack in that situation. You want to already have points on the board, and we have them. We're in the driving seat right now because there is a high chance that all those other teams below us, Forest, City, Chelsea, Villa, are going to drop even more points between now and the end of the season. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. I want to get your thoughts on it. What do you think about that, lads?
Just looking at Forest there with a 72.6% chance, but if you look at they're only the likes of Chelsea and Villa are only 3 points behind them, but they're only given a 26.5 and a 26.4% chance. I don't know. The percentages are a bit deceiving. There, like you're talking one game in a massive swing in the percentages. I know it's taken into account the fixtures as well, and Chelsea as well. By the time they play Liverpool, like you imagine, Liverpool would win that game, but Liverpool could have the league won by that time. So they'll probably be taking the foot off the gas for that one. Chelsea is probably still drop points, but it's look like. It can be deceiving as well, and will chop and change. I know I don't know how they make the calculation here, but it's probably weighted in some fashion. But it's deceiving. It was what I'm trying to say here as well. One little dip in that roller coaster of a season that we're having, and then this changes again massively.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, no, I agree with you, Dad. I think. Do you know what? And Pete, you mentioned this a little earlier on. That the next two games feel key, and I think looking at these fixtures, it kind of tells that story, because for me, I look at our column, and I just keep saying, I said this to you boys a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? Just don't get beat at Villa Park. Just don't get beat at Villa Park. Even if we were to get a draw on Saturday, I think it puts us in a really strong position, because then we have Ipswich come to us on the following weekend. And it puts us in a fantastic position. It really, really does. I look at the other fixtures of the other teams, like Man City's particularly. That's not those next two fixtures are not nice. Having to go to Goodison Park, where Man City notoriously do struggle against Everton, and then obviously playing Aston Villa, who will be fighting for their lives. I can see why Forests are the next favourites, because looking at those fixtures. Forest have got a great chance of picking up some big points there. Spurs are a little bit Spursy, if you like. So you never quite know what Spurs are going to turn up, but they've got a great chance. I know they're away, but they've got a great chance to, try and pick up 3 points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then they've got Brentford at home. So Forest can still turn this round and make sure that they, get top 5. But the other teams, I do think it's in the balance. And similarly, I'm surprised that Villa's percentages are so low, but then when I look at the fixtures, I think bloody hell, they are tough fixtures. They really, really are, because coming to playing us at Villa Park is not going to be easy. Then having to go to the Etihad, and then even the likes of Fulham and Bournemouth, two very solid sides who will have European aspirations themselves, and they'll want to be fighting for the Europa Conference and Europa League positions. So. Again, not easy fixtures, and as Daz rightly pointed out, Villa's still in the FA Cup, so they're going to have a lot of distractions. If you were to push me on who I think is going to get top 5, obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, I believe will, and I think their percentages are probably 100%. I then think it will be Newcastle. Looking at these fixtures, I think it will be Newcastle, Forest. And I would probably say, based off those fixtures, City. I think
so
they've
got exactly as it is.
Yeah, I think they've got the percentages spot on. To be fair, mate, I do. Based on those fixtures, I do think, because I think after two, I think the next 2 games will be very telling.
That's your top 5 as it stands. So
yeah. I mean, City may jump above Forest, or Forest may jump above us. I do think we. It sounds mad saying it. I do feel like we're nailed on for 3rd. I really, really do. Looking at those fixtures, even a slight outside possibility of 2nd, who knows? But I do feel confident, and I can see why we're 91.9% to qualify. I can see it. But yeah, for me, it's just don't get beat at Villa Park. Just don't get beat at Villa Park this weekend.
Let me just tell you Arsenal's fixtures, lads, because that is not in there.
Yeah,
all right. Arsenal play Ipswich next. Then they play Crystal Palace. Then they play the Champions League semi-final. Then they play Bournemouth. Against PSG. Then they play Bournemouth. Then they play PSG again. Then they play Liverpool. Then they play us. And then they play Southampton last game of the season.
Okay.
So the potential to drop points there along the way as well, especially against us.
Yeah, there's definitely potential. Definitely.
What were their next 2? Ipswich and who?
So it's Ipswich and Crystal Palace. So away to Ipswich, at home to their home against Crystal Palace.
Okay. So the Ipswich, Palace, and Southampton last game of the season. So you're looking at potentially 9 points there, and then everything
There.
all the other fixtures that they've got in the Premier League are probably a little bit up in the air.
Yeah, because they play PSG, then Bournemouth, then PSG, and then Liverpool.
Yeah.
Then us.
Yeah.
That they've 1, 2, 5 difficult games, you would say, bunched together.
Yeah.
In the space of 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, because there's a lot of football for them to play in that short space of time. Have they got the squad for it? They're going to be playing a lot of football. Are they going to be, not necessarily against us, but in other games, are they going to be resting players to make sure they're available for PSG? That could have an impact. We already saw they drew to Brentford last weekend. So, yeah. And the mentality will be different to the Premier League. But obviously the key for us is to keep winning. That's the incentive. And look, we've done the hard part, lads, because we've gone and won the last 4 in a row, which is what we aimed for after we won the Carabao Cup. We said the next 4 are going to tell us a hell of a lot about what our Champions League credentials were. We've gone and won all 4 of them. We've gone and done our job there. We knew that Villa was going to be probably the most difficult out of the lot. And so, we've set ourselves up to really kind of go into that game and be confident in that game that we can go in and exert ourselves into the game and give Villa a run for their money. Like I spoke to Billy tonight, and the one thing he said, he was like, "You boys don't need to win this game. You can chill. Like we need to win this game." And he's absolutely right. They have to win.
Nice to smash them though.
But this is it. They need to win this more, almost more than we do right now, and that can be dangerous for them. Because if they go all out, we're obviously in PSG are a fantastic team, but we have just as potent front line. Maybe not the star names apart from Isak that everyone talks about. But we've got just as potent front line, but with an actual striker that can actually punish Villa. So there's the threat there. There is an absolute threat there, and I think that we can cause problems for them on Saturday. It's up in the air. I think there's a chance, boys. I really do think there's a chance. But as you said, Chris, we go to Villa. It's a must not lose situation. We don't lose. We take a point at least, and we go on our merry way.
Yeah, totally.
While we're on the topic, I think there's a good question. And we're going to get to some questions. There's a good question here. Sorry, Chris, to jump in here.
No, go for it, mate.
And it comes from Mr. Dan United.
Hey, that's what I was going to ask him. That's what I was going to ask him.
What does Pete think the top 5 will be? I know this won't be at all controversial or clipped up or anything like that, but go for it, Pete.
Oh my God. You might have to drop the league up again from you lads. So I can have a look.
Here we go. Here's the league.
Okay. I'm feeling more confident about our position, so I'm going to say that Newcastle United will be playing Champions League football.
That's not the question, Pete.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but it's not working. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to go with the top 5. So at this moment, I have to stress for anyone that clips it, Liverpool champions, Arsenal second,
Boo.
Newcastle third.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
Man City fourth, and I think it's going to be a straight shootout between Villa and Forest for 5th. Ooh. That the way I see it right now, that's how I honestly feel that it's going to be. I actually think Villa and Forest have probably got equal fixtures. And I say equal fixtures. People might look at the fixtures and go, "Nah, they're not equal." But I'm looking at the squad and I'm looking at the confidence levels right now of both teams. boys, but we've said it before. Remember when we finished fourth 2 years ago? How kind of pressure points in that season. We lost to Villa at Villa Park. We kind of stumbled over the line against Leicester. We drew last game of the season to Chelsea. It wasn't easy. The pressure did get to us at that point. I think the pressure's getting to Forest right now. I'm not saying that Forest are going to drop out of the Champions League, but I think those fixtures now for Forest don't look as easy as they did a couple of weeks ago.
And of course,
sorry, Baz.
But both teams that you've said there are battling it out for that fifth spot in your top five prediction. There are both in the FA Cup still, with Villa playing Palace and Forest playing City, which will play a factor as well in the upcoming games.
Because both teams are going to have rearranged fixtures that are probably going to fall into whatever fixture that is going to fall into a midweek somewhere. So somewhere along the line, they're going to have a monstrous week to kick in.
That's a good point. So 26 and 27, just give the dates there. So it's it's already taken out. Oh, it's of this picture, let's say. So it's moved to a different slot.
So which one is it then?
Bunched.
Which one is the fixture? Obviously, the fans of those clubs will know what fixture it is that it's been rearranged, but we don't.
Is it played area? No. Is it the Man City and the Brentford, right? Because if you look, we aren't playing. No one else is playing on those at those times. Apart from those in the FA Cup.
Right.
Yeah.
May the 1st is a Tuesday, and that's when Forest and Brentford play. So that could be their rearranged.
That's rearranged, yeah. And also Man City's game on the 22nd of April seems to be rearranged. Man City and Villa. Yeah. So they are the rearranged games.
Okay.
Bunches so they have to play like 3 games in a week if you include the FA Cup game.
Interesting, lads.
Yeah. And look at that's for them to worry about. We'll focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get some questions, Chris.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. So the first one I've got to pop up. Mike Gent's been a member for 39 months, so that's 3 years and 3 months. Thank you very much, Mike. And Mike says, "Time flies when you're having fun. Love the channel." And we love you, Mike. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very, very much. Right. Do you know what? Someone put this in the chat earlier, and I was like, "This is a great comment." It was Nobby Clark. Nobby Clark says, "Adam Cleary apparently said this evening, if Newcastle had spent 50 million on a right-sided forward who'd done what Jacob Murphy's done this season, it would look like a bargain."
Good point.
It's a really good point, isn't it? Really, really good point from Adam.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right, where are we here, boys? And I love this from Christopher D as well. Great name. Christopher D says, "Lads, before Isak scored, we've got our best striker slightly off form, and we've still scored 11 goals in 3 games without his goals. This team is on fire."
It is totally on fire. Just the amount of goals raining in. I think the stat came up as well. We're watching. It said that only Liverpool has scored more goals than us recently.
Yeah.
Isn't that great though, lads? Is that we've got, there was talk when we're on our 9-game run. There was this talk of having an over reliance on Alexander Isak. Until a point, we probably did. But isn't it great that in one sense that we've gone on this run now? What is it, 5 or 6 in a row wins in all competitions, including the Carabao Cup, and we're looking at 6 wins in a row. 5 in the league. And you're looking at that situation, and you're thinking to yourself, Alexander Isak hadn't scored in 2 before tonight, and we were still able to score a significant amount of goals to win that game. Was it 9-2 for Newcastle against Man United and Palace? And he's only scored 1 of those goals. That just shows you that the team are contributing. And we scored, 84, 85 goals last season. And a big part of that was the team providing goals for winning matches. And it seems like that element of our team is coming back again, which is great to see, because I think teams have obviously more recently put plans together to stop Alexander Isak. But what it's showing is that we're not just built on him scoring all the goals for us, that we've got potency in other positions. And great to see Murphy score, great to see Barnes get on the score sheet, and Alexander Isak contribute as well. And Fabian Schär, obviously, it's good to see, and it means that they've got to now plan for other positions and other players, which may actually give Alexander Isak more freedom and more space to be able to pick up the goal scoring traits again.
Yeah. Well, these teams will be looking at the likes of Murphy and Barnes, because you can argue Murphy and Barnes at the moment are so on fire. These teams are going to be worried about those two. You've got Sandro Tonali chipping in with the goals, Bruno Guimarães, you've got Fabian Schär. The goals are coming from everywhere. And
you've got Barnes, you've got Gordon ready to come off the bench as well and run at people, as we saw against Man United. And he has to fight for his place, as we said as well. So he has to be bang up for it as well, and think of his England spot too.
Yeah, totally. I love this comment from Geordie Toon for Life. He says, in Murphy's interview on Sky, which Pete mentioned earlier, he said that Matt Ritchie helped him the most with the crossing of the ball. And guess who's the guest on Saturday Night Football? Yes, the legend that is Matt Ritchie. Love that. It'd be good to see Matt Ritchie in the studio on the weekend. So that'll be all good. Really good comment as well from Ashley Hammett. Ashley says, guys, I thought Trips was outstanding again tonight. He looks settled again, organising the defence. Awesome. Totally agree, Ashley. How are you boys feeling about Kieran Trippier? Are you pleased with how he's regained his form and he's seeing us through to ensure this Champions League qualification?
No, it's great to have him, the real Trips back. He's been solid, he's been organised, and he's even when Dan Byrne got his yellow card, which was a stupid yellow card, wasn't Dan? It was just stupid from the ref to give him a yellow card in that situation. But he was pulling Bruno back from talking to the ref as well. It's just there. He knows what to do with it in those occasions. So and then the set play, I suppose, to set up that goal for Schär as well. Just great to have him back.
Pete?
Kieran Trippier, I fought for him last summer when lots in our chat were saying, get him out, get him sold, move him on. I said, no, his experience and his quality will be needed this season. I agreed that Tino should have started the season number one, and he did, and rightly so. But it's coming to the front now that we needed Kieran Trippier, and had we have sold him in the summer, what a bad mistake that would have been. And how crucial has he been in big moments this season? Cup final, in this run, in the run up, in the 9-game winning run. He's been so influential, and it's really nice to see that his personal life has become settled now, and we're now seeing somebody that's happy, healthy, and fully focused on football again. Because when Kieran Trippier is in that mindset, there's no better player that you want in the team. His experience, his know-how, his shithousery, the lot. It's just so good to see. So super impressed with Kieran Trippier. For me, I'm keeping him next season. I'm giving him an extension for as long as he wants to stay at the club and contribute to this squad. You're going to need him in a European football season next season. We're going to need that Champions League experience on the back of that. Don't send him in the summer, Newcastle United. Let him stay another year at least. And loving what Kieran Trippier is doing right now. Long may it continue.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be the sensible option, to give him and make sure he's here with us next season. Is it contract up?
I don't think it is.
No, I think he's got another year on the back of that, but we could probably see it running down a bit like we did with Shaw. But for me, now he's happy and healthy.
He has another year.
That's the issue. It's clear his personal life was a significant issue for his downturn in form. I think we can all see that now. And I think he fully had the intentions of maybe seeing out his career at Newcastle United. And look, we're not going to get much from him, if anything, in terms of transfer fee. So I don't think it's even about that anymore with him. But if we can keep him and he's happy to stay at the squad and continue to play for Newcastle United, I'd keep him for as long as he wants to stay at the club, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's a big part of the squad, isn't he? So I would have no problem with that whatsoever. A few more questions, boys. A couple of comments. I'm not going to ask you the question because I think we'll save it for another time, and I don't want to, put any dampeners on anybody. But interesting comments. So Peter Moyle says, "I'd sell Gordon," and then Tom Dixon says, which kind of leads into where I'm going with this. If we had to sell either Gordon or Barnes in the summer, what one would you choose? Now, we're not going to answer these questions because I've read them out, but we're not going to answer them because we do have a squad games coming up, and maybe this is going to be part of the discussion. I'm sure it will be. But yeah, I don't think tonight is the night for that. But certainly, Barnes has thrown himself into he's putting himself in the shop window, and he's certainly putting himself in the forefront of Newcastle United fans' minds because at the moment he looks unsellable. He's playing out of his skin. Sorry, Daz, what were you saying, mate?
I was just thinking about squad game as well, and I'm reluctant to push for us to go with a squad game while we're winning games, boys, because I think we'll keep the run going. If we take a defeat, then maybe I'll think about it a bit more. But we're going to hang on for now while this run keeps going. Let's get behind everybody.
Yeah. The one thing I just add to that is for fans in general of our club, let's not be reactionary. Let's not be reactionary with the situation. Let's remember what Barnes had to go through during his time on the bench, and it's easy to say when one wing is playing really well, let's get rid of the other. Let's keep that in mind with everything that we do. Let's keep in mind that we could potentially be playing Champions League football next season. That's all I'll say on that.
I think that's fair, mate. I think that's fair. Yeah. This one kind of blew my mind, actually, from Nobby Clark. Nobby Clark, is this true? Jacob Murphy has more goals and assists this season than Grealish in the last 5 seasons. Is that true?
I have no idea, but that would be an unbelievable stat if that was the case.
Yeah,
Nobby, but if you can, Nobby, before we sign off from the show, throw some stats up, mate. Throw some stats up, Nobby. I know you're a big contributor of the channel, so I know you watch this a lot. But yeah, throw those stats up.
Stat if true. Incredible stat if true. I love this one from Mark Todd. He says Jason Tindall, manager of the month. I tell you what.
That's what I was.
Yeah, go on, Daz. Go on, mate.
No, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, what happens in that situation? Let's say Newcastle keep winning. Is it that Eddie Howe gets the man of the month, and Eddie Howe will go, "Here you go, my dog. This is your baby here." And just thought that'd be icing on the cake if that happened. But would they actually give it to Eddie Howe, or do they give it to JT?
I think
Eddie Howe would hand it over anyway. But
I mean, I think it'd go to JT, but I think as a collective, I think they take it in, they take it together, the trophy. But I'll tell you what, Eddie Howe's got to be proud as punch of Jason Tindall, because he's handling himself exceptionally well, isn't he? In the absence of Eddie, I'm sure Eddie's played a big part behind the scenes. I have no doubt, but Jason Tindall's going out there, mad dog, and doing the business. I'll tell you what, if he goes and gets a result at the weekend against Villa, bloody hell, he's really going to be at the forefront of that Manager of the Month award for sure. This is an interesting one, boys. And do you know what? I thought of one player when this came up, and that player that I thought of was Kevin De Bruyne. And Dave Bullman says, on current form, is Tonali the best midfielder in the league? He's our most important player. Do you think Do you think it's fair to say that? And the reason I say Kevin De Bruyne is because over the years, I think it's been widely acknowledged and accepted that Kevin De Bruyne is probably the best midfielder in the league. But do you think Sandro's putting himself in that conversation? Obviously, we know Kevin De Bruyne has announced he's going to be leaving at the end of the season, but are you seeing any better midfield performances out there at the moment in the Premier League?
For me, I think back to the show that Eddie Howe and JT did. I don't know who it was with, but they said the best player in the Premier League was Rodri. So I'm putting Tonali edging towards that level. I just think he's absolutely unreal. I said at the start of the show that I think that he has the potential to be in the shortlist for a Ballon d'Or once we are back playing in the Premier League, and he'll do it for Italy as well. So he's going to be in that shop window for those kind of awards. I just think he can go, he's got better since working with Eddie Howe as well. So he's just unbelievable. They were even saying it in the commentary tonight that there's a lot of players from Newcastle up for a player of the season, boy, including Jacob Murphy, Lewis Hall before he got injured as well. But Sandro is in the mix for our player of the season as well, big time.
Yeah. Do you pinch yourself, Pete, that Sandro Tonali's 24 years of age? Like it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? And I've been obviously watching back, the Man United highlights and from the game, that we were at the weekends, and like that long busting run at the end, where he's playing, he's got the Man United players on strings. Like, are you watching Sandro Tonali at the moment and thinking like this lad is incredibly special? He could surpass even Bruno, who we all absolutely adore. Is that kind of where you are with him, Pete?
I'm pinching myself that we have Sandro Tonali at Newcastle United. I feel like we are in sort of a real special moment as Newcastle United fans. A player of his ability, and Mike Gent, you're absolutely right. 24, great age, and for him, the best player in Italy's international team, to be representing Newcastle United. Is a crazy thought. My simple answer for me is he's the best performing central midfielder in the Premier League right now. There's no doubt about it. I'm not saying he's the best. Rodri will have something to do with that when he comes back from injury. Of course, he is absolute world-class, elite level player. But right now, Sandro Tonali is the best performing central midfielder in the Premier League. Makes me laugh. People are talking about Moise Caicedo and people like that. They're not a pat on Sandro Tonali. No, not players like him, Moise Caicedo and players like that have nowhere near had the type of run of form that Sandro Tonali's had this season. Nowhere near. They might have had games where they were better or performed at a high level, but not the consistency and the top elite level that Sandro Tonali's playing at. It excites me, but it worries me at the same time, because he is a world-class midfielder. He's a world-class midfielder, and it worries me that some of the elite teams are then going to start becoming interested in him. That's what worries me about Sandro Tonali. We have to keep playing Champions League football if we're going to keep a player of his ability at this club. What I would love to see, boys, I would love to see him sign an extension in the summer.
Yeah, agreed.
I think as much as we talk about Isak, I think Sandro Tonali signing an extension and talking about the loyalty that the club have given him and blah 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 and this that and the other in the summer to really kind of reaffirm that I'm staying at Newcastle United for a longer term, even if it's an extension of a year or two. I would love that. I would absolutely love that, because I think it would just kind of relax and calm everything down. We're seeing all these reports of Italy. He ain't going back to Italy. No team in Italy can afford Sandro Tonali. It's that simple. Like, it's an interesting one. Max had just put, and I'm not sure if that was related to Sandro Tonali, but 200 million and we build again. No, not for me. I mean, Sandro Tonali for me is already £100 million centre midfielder. I'm not selling him for anything less than that. In fact, I'm not selling him for anything less than what Arsenal paid for Declan Rice, because I'm seeing a player that's better than Declan Rice right now. I don't care what Declan Rice is doing in the in the Champions League. Sandro Tonali is better than him. Sandro Tonali was already doing what Declan Rice has been doing in the Champions League this season when he was at AC Milan. So he's already proved his credentials at Champions League level. For me, he's a more than £100 million player. I think it's going to take astronomical money to get him out there, get him signed to a new contract. He is the best performing midfielder in the league, no doubt about it. Matt has put 200. I hope that's million, Matt. 200 million. I'd slap that price tag on him because nobody can afford him, and that means that he stays at Newcastle United. He's sensational. He's absolutely sensational. Like I'm looking at this midfield now, boys, and we were talking about it. I think when we were in Newcastle about our Newcastle all-time 11, and I'm looking at some of these players. I'm looking at Sandro. I'm looking at Bruno. I'm like, these guys are going to dislodge, if not already, the likes of Rob Lee and some of the other midfielders that we've loved during our time supporting Newcastle United over the last 30 plus years, because these guys are just so good. So good. Loving every minute, lads. Loving every minute.
Yeah. What a time to be a Newcastle fan. All don't we deserve it after everything that we've gone through down through the years? It's just this is peak level.
It is. It's really exciting, and I think it does make me laugh. And Pete's just kind of mentioned it there. You know, I saw the reports on X today, and they were saying Juventus are preparing a €60 million bid for Sandro Tonali, and it's like, what even is that? What even is that? Like, some of these reports are just mental, and these are coming from big accounts as well. They're coming from big, well-trusted accounts, and you're thinking Newcastle would deal at €60 million for Sandro Tonali. It's just mental. It's absolutely mental.
They can't handle the fact that players like Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimarães, Alexander Isak are playing for Newcastle United. They cannot handle it. So, like, to be fair, Luke Edwards, whether you like him or not, he did say this weeks and weeks ago. Be ready for a summer of bullshit reports, whether it's foreign or domestic, that are going to try and unsettle Newcastle United players. Be ready for it. It's going to happen. Don't even react to it. I don't even respond to this stuff now. I just laugh it off and just keep on scrolling, because this type of stuff is going to be expected. They don't want players like this playing for Newcastle United. They don't want it. So they're going to try and unsettle these players as much as possible. They think that Sandro Tonali is desperate to go back to Italy. I'm seeing a player that's anything but desperate to go back to Italy. He wants to stay at Newcastle United. He wants to stay playing in the Premier League. He does not want to go back to Italy. Italian fans and journalists want him to go back. He does not. And that's the reality. So they're trying to unsettle him. I'm not listening to anything. It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish.
The only time he would go back to Italy is potentially towards the end of his career, to see out his career, or something like that. Maybe that's something like that happen, but that's
absolutely
long way away. Don't have to be thinking about it now.
Right, boys, I'm going to whiz through a few. I'm going to whiz through a few now. Samsonite Dove, member for 3 months. Thank you very much, Samsonite. He says we said put Tonali in the 6 and we'd win games. Do you know what, boys? Do you remember when we said this way back when we were going, put him in the 6, put him in? I think it was you that was leading the chant as put him in the 6. That's all we kept saying, wasn't it?
Yeah, and look, it's worked out. Just delighted it has. We've had a hell of a season since that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a few comments here. So Wolsey says, Wolfie, hold that. I enjoyed that comment. I like that. And Wolfie, if you're watching back, mate, hope you're well, and I hope you're not too worried. That's all I'd say. Chris, big shout out to you, mate. Congrats on your win at the weekend against Newcastle Fans TV, lads. Thank you very much, Chris. Top man, there it is, in all its glory. There it is.
Still here.
Great day, great weekend. Oh yeah, Pete's got it. Pete knows the score.
Still here. I'll bring in so often just to show it.
So off.
Always ready.
Beside your bed.
Pride of place, lads.
Absolutely. Ali B says, when's top table, lads? Well, it's something we'll have to discuss, actually, Ali. We will have to do a top table talk, but we'll have to try and squeeze it in somewhere.
Look, it's difficult to get top table talks and away days in with so many games coming at us, and with us being away as well. So it is this so much that we want to do. Like we have a lot of ideas and shows in our heads to do, and a series that we want to continue. It's just getting the time to group it up. But don't worry, we will keep you entertained right through the summer.
Yeah, absolutely, we will get there. Let me see another couple of comments. Nobby Clark, I love this from Nobby. We come second, Pete. Get your chest out. Get your chest out, Pete. I love that.
No, we're looking up, not down. That's what I'll say. We're looking up. Come on.
Oh, a little super chat here from Michael McIntyre. Thank you very much, Michael. I love that name. Michael McIntyre. The Tonali are coming to absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Michael McIntyre and Will Smith in the same chat. Yeah. Wow.
Brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. Only on Loaded Mag NUFC. Only. Quick one for Pete of Alan Thompson. He says, Pete, how is D off the 12th Man podcast? Have we heard off D this evening?
Nope. Not heard off anyone. You know what? There's only a couple in the 12. Well, there's two 12-man chats. There's one with all the other clubs, and then there's one with Race for Europe. So the one with all the other clubs, the likes of D, Little Dan, and all the rest of them, and Rich as well, who's also a Palace fan. He's in there too. That chat has been dead. Can't hear anybody. There's been no comments, no nothing. I bet if Newcastle lost tonight, that chat would have been blowing up. Absolute radio silence. But the Race for Europe chat is very much about Arsenal tonight. The Arsenal fans, the Arsenal boys want their flowers tonight.
Great win, to be fair. Great win at the Bernabeu. Got to give them that.
Yeah, great win. But there was also another great win in the Premier League.
There was.
So I'm just reminding a couple of people of that, and Lawless is refusing to give Arsenal their flowers, but he has given Newcastle United theirs, and said very well done on slapping Crystal Palace with his words.
Very nice, very nice.
He's secretly a Newcastle fan, as we know that already.
Always like Lawless. Yeah. Right, couple quick ones. Tom Dixon says, what's Asula got to do to get a game with us being 4-0 up? Surely we should have brought Asula on. Interesting this one, Tom, because for me, I think the firm second choice is Callum Wilson. And I think it's whenever there's an opportunity to rest Alexander Isak, the second choice is Callum Wilson. And I think that's why, which again, we will probably talk about later on in the season, I think that's why, particularly if we bring in a new striker of some sort, we could see Will Asula going out to get some game time. But that's just my opinion. I think Will Asula's not ready for Premier League football. It's great for him to get minutes, don't get me wrong, but Callum Wilson came on, and I think that's why Will Asula didn't enter the pitch. But boys, I don't know if you've got anything to add to that.
Well, I just one thing really to say.
Tommy is an attacker.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
W's, get them in. W's right now. W's in the chat. Come on, people. You know it makes sense. How have we not done this before? Been an hour and 48 minutes. W's in the chat. Come on, people. Get them in right now. W's in the chat. W's, people. Kenja is in there. W's in the chat.
Kenja, is that Kenja Joe? Could you confirm Kenja from in FTV?
Could be.
As the W's right
Get those W's in. Come on.
It is. It's Kenja Joe. It's Kenja Joe. Nice one, Joe.
Yes.
Love it.
Well job. Hope you're well, mate.
Just to answer the Asula situation, he is absolutely. Don't worry about that.
Clean.
It's already been cleaned. It's already clean, pristine. With Asula, he is fully situated in it's their choice. And look, as Jason Tindall said, he's progressing nicely. He's developing in training. We could just throw him on, but actually we're chasing Champions League and we can't just throw players on for the sake of it. He will get his opportunity, whether it's at Newcastle United or alone next season. I'm not going mad over the fact that he's not playing. I don't think he's going mad. I think he's happy to be a part of it, learning from the best, developing in training. We're going to see the best of Willis Ula, but it won't be at Newcastle United. I believe it will be on loan next season. I think you're going to see what we've developed in him this season. I think you're going to go and see him perform elsewhere and really turn it on. And then what you might well see is that Willis Ula come back to Newcastle United, having had a good loan, and then tear it up after that.
Yeah, it is a different kind of situation than Hall. All right, I can't see him coming back starting next season and being like, he was definitely not going to be first choice, but getting a lot of game time. So yeah, maybe the loan is the option for him. He's a bit mad as well, a bit like Joe there, Joe Kenja, a bit mad, but we want to see him do well as well. He seems like a good lad, and.
Joe, my back's still not right from that tackle. My back is still not right from that tackle. I was in for the pot last night, and I was like standing up, and I was just like, my back's off. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why is it like this? And then I remembered that tackle. I thought, it's you. It's you, Joe. It's 1-1. I'm going to make it 2-1 next year. Don't worry about it. I'll come for you. I'll come for you.
I like that one. Just come in from Brad. Nice one there. I like that.
Oh, get out. Get out of here.
Oh, God. Oh, no. But yeah, last couple, boys. I'm going to save the last one for Pete. But I'm going to ask you from Dark Design. Gahey, would you still take him? Were you boys watching Mark Gahey closely this evening? And also, do you think that Palace will deal with Newcastle in the summer, given that? And tell me if I'm wrong here, boys, but doesn't Mark Gahey only have 12 months left come the summer? Is that right?
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd still take Mark Gahey for the right price. Like he's still a once in a generational talent, isn't he? According to Steve Parish, so that wouldn't change. But yeah, it would have to be at the right price. And he's already scored 2 goals for us this season, so it's not been a bad season for him.
What about you, Pete?
Yeah, he's definitely in the list of centre backs that I think we'll be looking at. What I will say though is that I don't want Newcastle United to be chasing Mark Gahey this summer. I don't want Newcastle United to be chasing him. I want, if Mark Gahey comes to Newcastle United, I want him to initiate this. I want him with a year left on his contract to say, no, I want to play for Newcastle United. If we're going to be turning up playing Champions League football next season, I want him to go, no, I want to go and play Champions League football for Newcastle United. I want him to initiate it. I don't want us doing the chasing. Because I tell you what, this summer, it ain't going to be about Mark Gahey or nothing else. This summer, it's going to be Mark Gahey and maybe 4 other options of centre-backs that are equal ability to him, maybe at the similar price. And so for us, we're going to be in a position to say, okay, we're going to be in a candy store or a sweet shop going, which one are we going to choose? So he's going to have to show his intent to want to come and play for Newcastle United, not the other way around. We ain't getting into this bidding war. If Steve Parish wants to do all that, we'll go elsewhere. So that means Mark Gahey's going to have to slap down a transfer request and say, I want to go and play for Newcastle United. I want to see that from him this summer. I don't want to see, let's just see what Palace do. Because if he wants to do that, keep him at Palace. Palace can keep him. And he can keep scoring own goals for us next season. No problem. I'm being deadly serious. I like him as a centre-back. I think he's a very good centre-back. He's superb for England, has been brilliant for Palace, although Maxime Lacroix, I think, has been better this season than Mark Gahey. I do rate him, and I think Eddie Howe can make him a much better centre-back than he is right now. But after being scarred of what happened last summer, nah, I don't want us going through that rigmarole again.
Yeah,
He wants to show his intent for Newcastle. He tells us that he wants to sign for us, and he initiates the move. Otherwise, we'll go look elsewhere.
Yeah. And if he does happen to be heading towards Newcastle, we'll get Sammy on and to tell us all about it. That is for sure.
Yeah. And then last question. This one's for you, Pete. Last one. It's only a one-word answer, and it comes from Mike Gent. Mike's put a couple of questions in about this, but this is the key question, I think. And Mike Gent asks you, Pete, is it Rhodes or Cena?
Oh, it's the big one this weekend, lads. Oh my God, WrestleMania, 2-night special.
There's Mike.
What?
Mike sizes.
You know what? I'm with you guys. Joe would
sizes.
say, Joe's gone Cena. Nah, forget that. I'm not going with Joe. I'm not going with Joe. We're enemies right now. I'm joking. I actually think Cena's going to do it. I do think Cena's going to win the title. And I think he's gonna get booed the hell out of the stadium on Sunday evening. I genuinely believe that. So yeah, I'm gonna go. John Cena is gonna win the title off Cody Rhodes. But yeah, hey, don't start Geordie 2 for life. All this get a life. Wrestling's a passion, just like football. It's a passion. I've been watching it since I was 3 years old. Ain't gonna change now. But yeah, Cena to win against Cody Rhodes. Can't wait. Win at Villa Park. Night 1 of WrestleMania when I get home. Oh, what a Saturday. What a Saturday. Love it.
Well, it's about to be a Thursday. Well, any last questions, Chris?
No, that's it, mate. That is us done. And I think that I flashed that up from the Clon lad. I like that. Right, off to sleep. Away, lads. Great show. Good night, all. And I think that's a good way to end it.
That is a good way to end it. Kenja Joe as well. You better come on to join us here someday as well. And we will be getting Johnny on again. But yeah, come join him. We'll chat a bit of football. Why not? Boys, that is it. That is the show. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash that like button on the way out. We will be back. Don't know when, but we will be back. Again, playing out for Eddie. Get well soon, Eddie. See you in the next one.
How you like